What if human beings came together collectively and decided that we will be mourning during weddings and celebrating during burials? Don't you think that is what exactly would happen? The name that you give it, so it shall be called. The definition that you give it, so it shall be defined. Do you ever wonder why God created everything, every animal, every plant, every living and unliving thing, and never named it? After creating man, that is when he told Adam, now go and name each and every living and non-living thing. Because in God's mind, he did not want that one day it shall so happen that Adam is going to come back to God and tell God, it is because of this that you named us so that I'm suffering it. It is because of the name that you gave this situation, this animal, this circumstance, this experience that I'm suffering. God was smart enough to let Adam, human beings, to name things. Go and name it. Go and define it. For whatsoever name you give it, for whichever definition you give it, so it shall be. The Bible also says that that which has been passed or permitted here in earth, even in heaven, it is. Could it be that you are not suffering the circumstance or the situation? Could it be that you are not suffering the experience? You are suffering the name that you gave the experience. You called it a problem, so a problem it is to be solved. And you have to have tears. You have to work hard to solve it, simply because you called it a problem. What if you had called it a learning experience? Do you think you'd have had the pain and the suffering that you're going through right now? Probably not. Let's say, for example, you are in a thriving romantic relationship, and at some point, it broke. And here you are calling it divorce, calling it heartbreak. What if you'd have given it a different name? What if you'd have called it, that was indeed an amazing learning experience that I just had. But the time to learn the lesson is over, so the teacher has to go. What if you are suffering the definitions that you actually always give situations, circumstances, and experiences? What if nobody is suffering life? What if life is the most pure thing that has no suffering in it? And those who are suffering, they are suffering because they have defined life to be a suffering experience. Now, what have you named it? What have you called it? You made a mistake, right? You messed up. Of course you did. Everybody does at some point in life. And then instead of saying that I did something wrong and I have something to learn from it, even if the only lesson that you have to learn from that thing that you did wrong is the lesson that you should never do that kind of a thing again. What if that lesson is the reason why you had to do that? Sometimes you have to do things you don't prefer so that you can learn a valuable lesson that you don't prefer those things. Sometimes you have to do things that are unpleasant so that you can learn a lesson that those things are not present for you to repeat or do again. Most people are suffering in pain, in poverty, in sin, simply because you did something and you called it a sin, And now it is haunting you, it is killing you, it is giving you nightmares, sleepless nights, because of what you named it to be. You did something as a human being, and then you called it a mistake. Oh, look at you now, suffering the definition that you gave to the circumstance. Suffering the definition, the explanation, the naming that you gave to the experience. That's what you are suffering. Because if you called it something else, you would never suffer it. That's the things that we go through in life. Sometimes somebody is not traumatized until they define a situation as traumatizing. Sometimes somebody is not heartbroken until they define the experience as heartbreaking. Sometimes the person has not committed a sin until they name the experience or the thing that they did, they name it a sin. Sometimes people are suffering because they have seen and defined the experiences in their lives as suffering. What if life has no meaning? What if we are the meaning to life? What if we are the ones who give life our individual meanings? And whatever meaning you give life, so it becomes. I want you to be so careful with the meanings, with the names that you are giving situations, circumstances, and experiences in your life. Because those names, those definitions will either work for you or work against you. Be careful. All that we go through in life are just experiences, not positive experiences, not negative experiences, not good experiences, not bad experiences. We as human beings, we are the ones who usually distinguish and name circumstances and experiences as negative or positive. If we say it is positive, we cannot suffer it. But the moment we say it is negative, we suffer it. The moment we say that this is worth suffering, we suffer it. The moment we say this is worth celebrating, we celebrate it. I want to leave you with a question. What if human beings came together collectively and decided that we will be mourning during weddings and celebrating during burials? Don't you think that is what exactly would happen? We would start mourning during weddings and celebrating burials. Why? Because that is the definition that we have given that experience. You are not suffering life. You are suffering the definitions and the names that you have given to the circumstances and the experiences that you're having in life. If you want to have a different story, change the definitions and the names that you've given to the things that you're going through in life. Whatever you name it, so it shall be. However you define it, so it shall remain defined. You either enjoy it or suffer it. Kindly consider subscribing to this wonderful YouTube channel, and believe me, I'll be seeing you so soon. Thank you.